Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jade, and this is How to App on iOS. And today, we're going to be chatting with the amazing
Valerie Bhat. Oh, yeah.
What do you say, hippie? And first, we're going to kick off with one of her tracks. This is called Lost in Conversation. It's an original song, and it features instrumentation by Leroy. Let's do it.
Second Tuesday, sipping slow on steams of teeny photographs of borrowed days to black and white mysteries and motivations and phonographs too old to play the melody still scratched inside like fingernails across your skin, like giving up or giving in, love, giving in. Second cup spring, second chapters bound in leather. I read it back in high school. That was long before I know now. If I knew then, how your eyes reflect electric light when you tell me of the times before you understood the details and the constellations. Don't know where we were going. I get lost in conversation. Corner of my eye translates the shape on this paper napkin painted with the copper stain and ballpoint pen. Timeline of antagonists with open ears, not judging that your wounds are mostly self-inflicted. I'm familiar with giving in. Don't know where we were going. I get lost in conversation. Long ago, a distant port, pages from the backward dots, so no one knows exactly how the world's supposed to end or how it all got started. I don't know where we were going. I get lost in conversation. Oh, don't know where we were going. I get lost in conversation.
Boom. Howdy do. Welcome to the show. Hope you're doing well. My name is Jade. This is How to App on iOS, and this is our weekly interview that we do, of course, weekly. And today's show, let's let you know what that song was. So again, that was Lost in Conversation by Valerie Bhat, our special guest today, and Leroy was playing instruments on that. So awesome stuff. And I hope you're all doing really good. Thank you all for being here. As per usual, we'll do the hellos a little bit further into the show, yes. And I need to do this because without the amazing sponsorship of Distrokid, this wouldn't be able to happen. This once-a-month interview, special interview that we have is all thanks to Distrokid, amazing sponsor of the show. Let me do some magic here and see if I can get things working properly. Boom, there we are. And why am I not in the shot there? What is going on here? See if I can bring myself into the shot, as if you need to see me. There I am. Oh, my God. And DistroKid, if you sign up with DistroKid, and hang on, what am I getting ahead of myself? What did DistroKid actually do? Well, DistroKid, they will release your music to all of these streaming services like Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Tidal, all of the major ones, even ones you've probably never even heard of. And they do it for an incredibly low price of $19.99 a year. So you pay that and you will get all your stuff, singles, albums, whatever you want to release, unlimited amount of songs every year, and it stays up there as long as you continue to pay your membership each year, and you get a whole lot of really cool features and things like that. But if you sign up using my link, which is over there at distrokid.com/VIP/Jade Starr, you get 7% off your first year. And DistroKid absolutely rock. As you can see here, there are 3 tiers. You can have a musician plan where you just have one artist name, and you get unlimited songs, unlimited lyrics, Spotify check marks, and you can collect your earnings and split them with other artists who you may do music with. There is a Musician Plus plan for $35.99 a year. We get 2 artist names, and you get everything on the previous plan, plus synced lyrics on Instagram and daily streaming stats, all these kind of things. Or if you want to be like me and have a label account at $79.99 a year, you can have 5 artists and pretend like you're like you're a record label. That's what I like to do, is pretend that I'm a record label and all that jazz. So we'll come back and we'll talk about DistroKid a little bit later on in the show, and I'll show you a bunch of cool things you probably didn't know about DistroKid. So before we get on with it, I just want to once again thank DistroKid for being sponsors of this show. Love you, DistroKid, and all that you do. All right, welcome, everybody. I've been really excited to have Valerie on the show for an interview. You may have seen previously she was on the show and she did a live performance on the opening hour here on this show. And, it's fantastic to have her perform live on my show. Super awesome. If you haven't seen that, go back and check it out. It was a fantastic show. She did a 45-minute set, and it was really, really wonderful. And today we're going to find out what makes her tick and all of the really clever stuff that she does. She's an incredible artist. She is an incredible musician and artist, and she designs guitar pedals as well. Not only that, I don't know how she fits all this in. She does a live stream every week, and she does live performances in the real world. I just don't know how she does it. It's amazing stuff. So we're going to find out today, yeah? So without further ado, I would like to welcome to the show the one, the only, the incredible Valerie Bhat. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
How you going
Thanks
today?
so much, Jade. I'm doing great.
Awesome. Thank you so much, firstly, for coming on the show for a second time. You're becoming an old hat at this, aren't you?
Oh, thanks so much. It's fun.
I'm going to hit you up with the first question I normally bang everyone with. What does music mean to you, Valerie?
It just means everything. It's my way of connecting to other people. It's just the language I speak. I am not very good socially. I think I'm much better connecting with people through my music than through other ways. And it's just something I've had my whole life, and I don't know what I would do without it.
I totally concur. Music has been something that without, I probably wouldn't have as many friends as I've got. I'll tell you that. A lot more people would hate me. Do you recall the music that was played in your household when you were growing up? Throw some of those artists at me that maybe your parents played in your household, and how have they influenced you?
Well, my mother loves the Carpenters, Karen Carpenter mostly. And I got to say, my mother sounds exactly like Karen Carpenter.
Oh, wow.
Like, not joking. She has an amazing voice and can just sing just like her. And she does all the time in grocery stores, just in all the, she's always singing it. But
I love that.
But they're good songs, and I do think that there's a lot of the way I write songs now I see is often like, oh, this is a very much a Carpenter song, the way I've put this bridge and, layered this up, which isn't a bad thing. But, and then my father, he liked, he was actually big because he had that first guitar that was sitting in the closet that I got out when I was 12. And that was the first time I played guitar. And he had a book of the Kingston Trio, a song book. And so that was my first thing I was learning from. But like my father's, he would pick me up from school once a week and we'd go get ice cream with my little brother. And we would sing songs like, I don't know if you have this in Australia. Beans, the musical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. The more you toot, the better you feel. So eat beans for every meal. So high class music like that.
Wow. I want to get that. Is this the book that you were talking about? One of these?
Yeah, no, it does. I think it might be that.
There's a
That
few of
middle
them.
picture that middle picture looks very familiar. Oh, well, yeah, it does look kind of, that might have been it.
Sing song with the
It was a
Kingston
very-
Trio.
Yeah. And I think the MTA was in there. Which was another song that my dad loved. Was
They
the
look very
MTA.
wholesome, these books.
They were very wholesome. And Jim Croce is someone else my father really would listen to a lot that I do like that. But most stuff, I feel like most of my musical things were not very parental approved. The other way.
Did you were there any? All right, since we're talking about parents, when I was young, I remember coming home with a piercing in my nose, and my dad kicked me out the house. Did you have any of those moments as a child where you were rebelling as a rock and roll musician, and the parents were like, "Nope, we're not dealing with this"? I didn't have this question scripted at all.
Not really. It was kind of the opposite. Like I really tried to overly please, be perfect, like straight A's, like I didn't, tried to get everything right, but it did not. You can't please these people. I'll tell you what.
You can't please parents.
Some people you just can't please. And so, what are you gonna do?
You can't please parents, and you sit there when you're young and say, "Well, I'm never going to be like that when I'm a parent."
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm never going to be a parent. I can't let this generational trauma keep going.
That's a great song title, Generational Trauma. Oh my God. That's a great song title right
Might
there.
be my biographical book.
Do you remember the first album that you purchased and was given as a gift? And what was it? What format was it on?
I think the first gift album that I received that was for me was Whitney Houston.
Nice.
And it was it just called Whitney Houston?
I think that's
In
what
my
her
mind
first
it
album
is.
was, yeah.
Yeah, it's just with her on it, and it was an album.
Yep.
For my record player, and I was really excited. And I think that same year I also got, my aunt gave me a used copy of America, like the one with a horse with no name on it.
Yep.
Which I was, but mostly, I have an older brother who's 8 years older than me, and he loves music. He would play music all the time. He had all the cool music. All the cool music I know is because of him. And because I stole a Blondie tape from his room when, I don't know, maybe I was like 8 or 9. And I just thought it was the best thing I've ever heard of in my life. And I would constantly try to figure out what he was listening to and make copies of it. And yeah, I was not a fun little sister. I don't think I have. I think I was in the way a lot.
You're right. The first Whitney Houston album was just called Whitney. There it is.
Yep.
I love, and I just loaded this up. Look how cool this is. When I loaded up, look, it didn't work this time.
Oh,
This
it
little
was-
animation came across the top with her writing. Look at that. It's all animated these days.
Oh, that's
there.
fancy.
I know. She'd probably be Loving that if she was still here. I remember the day that she passed away. I think it was a Mardi Gras here it was in Sydney.
Oh,
And it was called Fair Day, is the big Mardi Gras Fair Day. And so it was like 70,000 gays all in one park, all drinking, have a gay old time. And then they announced Whitney Houston died. I swear to God, you couldn't kill a party. Like, especially 70,000 gay men standing around Whitney
yeah.
Houston's dead. It was like, "Ah," everyone was just crying. It was the most horrible day.
It's yeah. No, I still don't quite believe it because it's just, someone like, it's always the case though with someone who's just so iconic,
Yep.
so amazingly talented, and it's a shame that we lost her too soon.
Absolutely. Do you recall the first gig you went to?
The first, well, so my mother was in a jazz band when I was growing up, and so and then she married the trumpet player in the jazz band, and so we would go to the gigs and sit in the back because kids weren't allowed at these things sometimes, and you'd sit in the back and you'd listen, or it would be a concert in the park, and we would have a blanket and we weren't they weren't babysitters back then. You just watched you were just kids, you were fine. So we would be kind of just watching their shows a lot. The first real show I went to was at the Texas Amarillo Civic Center, and it was Suicidal Tendencies
Yes.
and and then in Queensryche.
Oh my Lord, what a great gig to go to.
And I think I was 11.
Well, and Mike Muir up there spewing, going crazy. He's such a madman. I've seen them once. I saw them with Alice in Chains, and it was not a good gig. It was not a good gig. Alice in Chains drummer smashed his drum kit up on stage, and Lane Staley stormed off after the first song. And it was terrible. It was horrible. And I remember outside everybody's burning Alice in Chains T-shirts. It was like, wow, this is Australians. We're animals here. We riot like dogs. It's a disgusting country. So is stuff like has like hardcore music like Suicidal Tendencies been a thing in your repertoire of taste?
Well, when I was a younger teen, from about maybe like 11 to 16, I hung out at the skate park. They built a skate park in our town for skateboarding, and I hung out there all the time, and so I was really influenced by the music that people were listening to there,
Yep.
Misfits and Danzig, and The Cure especially. For me personally, it wasn't as hard, but it was all around. There was a lot and then Amarillo had a really good punk scene. Like,
Yeah.
there were quite a few like really great punk bands that would play these small shows and little warehouses and house parties. And when I was about 12, I think I was 12, I started a zine because I'm real cool, and I had I would write
cool.
articles. Now I don't know about this. I'd write little articles about local bands and businesses, and then I would. It was real printed, and I would take them, and I got a little couple advertisers so I could pay for it. And so one of the things I do is go to the punk shows and like try to like interview the bands and try to like write thoughtful things about the punk music and what they were trying to say and how it was commentary. And I was like, I think I stopped when I was 13. So I don't know how like wise any of it was. But it was fun. And I've always been a project kind of person who likes to just do things. I keep myself busy, I guess I want to say.
Yeah, look, I'm not shocked at all, because you do come across like a person who has your finger in everything. You look like I go to your website and there's just so much going on. So it doesn't surprise me. You come across as a very I can't even think of a word for it.
I appreciate because I feel like inherently the most lazy human being. Like if you ask like that, like if you ask my family, they'd be like, "Oh, Valerie, I'm lazy," is like the number one
Wow.
thing people would say about me, like my whole life. So I don't think of myself. I still think of myself as very lazy, and I keep trying to like add like, what should I be doing? I feel like I'm not doing quite enough to, especially since nothing's quite successful yet.
You can still be lazy and do a lot of things. I think, I get people saying to me, like, often, when do you even have time to sleep? I sleep a lot. Like, if you knew how much I slept, you'd probably be like, you're a lazy pig. But, I think it's what you do with the time that you're awake. That
You're so good at connecting with people while you're awake that it feels like, I'm like, I see you on different shows and your show, and so I have a harder time connecting with people
I see.
as much as you do.
See, I don't see that. It's weird what we see from the outside, what we
Totally.
perceive, because I see you perform each weekend, and I like your music so much. I get up way earlier than what I should because it's my day off, and I get up at 5 a.m. to watch you every weekend. I will tomorrow as well, because I feel like you do connect. Like I feel like, and I see people come in, and there's a space where people are chatting, and everyone feels really relaxed. And I'm sure people in the chat who are here today will agree with me. It's a nice space to come in and be relaxed and chat, and you talk to people, and you welcome people into your shows. I really love that about your shows.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I really do love that show. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I thought it would just, I was doing it on Facebook mostly for a while.
Yeah.
And, you get some comments, but the YouTube group is just, it's just better people.
Yeah.
Even though most of you now are also my Facebook friends. It's just it's a good, it's just a better way to get a good audience, I think, who are who want to watch that music, right? Or, and who want to be involved in that. So it's been so much fun. I'm really looking forward to it now every week.
Yeah, I used to stream this show on Facebook too, and I think a lot of people who do stream have tried Facebook, and Facebook's just horrible because, I don't know, you get people that come in that don't come back. It's really hard to build a community on Facebook. Everyone's so busy trying to take their latest selfie and show everybody how great their life is when really they hate themselves behind the camera. That I don't know, Facebook, that's what it feels like to me, where YouTube is a community building place. I've found since, I stopped broadcasting to Facebook because it just, I'd find the comments I'd get there too were just, there's more chance of idiots to come in and just leave dumb shit, know?
So my theory on that is that there are doers, there are do-doers, and there are poo-pooers. There are people who do, they're the do-doers. And then there are people who just like to poo-poo on shit on you. So be a do-doer and not a poo-pooer. And that's my second poop reference for today's interview.
and if you can't be either of those, be a boom. Be a boom boomer.
Yay, boomer.
I want to talk to you. So you mentioned you picked up a guitar. So was it around the age 12? Is that what I recall you saying?
I think so. I think I was about that.
Were there any school lessons? Did you play the recorder?
Well, I did play the recorder, but I should say I played the violin first. I was 4. And I did the little, what do you call it? Like the butter, like we make a little, it's like a ruler on a little butter box, and they put rubber bands on it and give it to a 4-year-old to teach them how to hold it and stuff. And then I got my tiny little violin when I was still 4. So I've played that. I did all the Suzuki method. I still own a recorder. I was big in church music, and I would do camps with different churches every summer as growing up. And most of them were music or theater related. And if not every one of them had a recorder session where you would have to spend like 2 hours a day doing a recorder song in, as a chorus. And
Well, from
I want to say nice things about a recorder, but
it's all right.
I just can't.
It's all right. Joe, block your ears. Joe and Barry,
Right.
block your ears now.
No, this is it. Let me say it like I should talk about me playing a recorder, not other people. Other people can play instruments better than me. But when I'm playing, or I guess also other 8-year-olds or young children, a children's recorder chorus is yeah.
So with music lessons, did they continue on? How long did you do music lessons? Did you have home tutoring or anything like that?
I did. I had violin lessons every week
Yep.
until I moved out from Amarillo, moved out of my mom's house when I was about, I guess I was 14. And so I think up until then I had done music lessons just every week. And then with school, I also did voice lessons. I took theater classes weekly. I did private voice lessons, and then I also did like church choir and other kind of things. So I was just in every music thing that I could be in. But it surprised, like, then after I did it until maybe through college. And then once I graduated college, I didn't pick up my guitar or violin again until I was about 34 or 35.
Wow. I would not have expected that.
Yeah, I didn't. So maybe 10 years, what year? I don't know. So yeah, maybe about 10 years ago, I broke this elbow. Like I just fell down and broke it.
Oh shit.
And it wasn't until that point that I kind of realized, like, I may never play guitar or violin again. Like I'm in, because I couldn't bend my arm in the right way anymore or twist my arm. And, I was just like, wow, like just really hit me that I could have, that this is just gone forever. But it wasn't, because my arm healed and I joined, we have this thing called a meetup group called Acoustic Music Community. And I started going to their jam. They had open mics and jams and things, and I would go and try to play. And eventually, like, I would lead the jam, and now I have to pay for the whole meetup group. So I don't know how we got to there, but it's been good because it's it's been a nice way to feel like I really started back from zero and learned, like, how do I play all these chords again. About in 2014 I started writing songs, and then that's and in that same year I joined a blues band that was here from people I met on Craigslist. And so we played in a blues band for a few years that was pretty good. Like I thought we were good. We played out some really good shows, like the county fairs and the different bars around town. And life happened, and one of our members got ill and stuff, and we had to split up. But it's started me trying to do more solo things. And
was that your first band?
Yeah.
Was that your first? That was your. What was your first?
Well, in high school we had a band.
What was
in
the
high
band?
school.
I always love to hear the first band name of somebody.
Honestly, I've been trying to think of it, and I feel like we wanted to name it after the guy who worked at the local convenience store who sold us alcohol. But I remember that, but I can't remember what his name was.
It's like Jeff. Good old Jeff. We're called Jeff, everybody.
Yeah, it might as well been.
That's a cool kind of concept.
Well, and the high school we went to had uniforms. So it took a lot, I think, for to like get sold alcohol while wearing a short plaid skirt and a little navy sweat vest. There's a little crest on it. So go Jeff.
Yeah. I have a spare couple of names on my Distrokid account, and I'm going to start a new band by the end of this year called Jeff. You've inspired me. Has anybody done that before? Just
Right.
got a band called like Christopher. There we go. That's my band name.
I think this is one of my things is trying, like, I feel like I don't have, everyone else has a cool name, like, and this is just my name. Everyone else has a good musician name. And so I tried for a while to like come up with a musician name, but I gave up and here I am.
I think you have a stage name. I think you have a stage name.
Growing up, so my maiden name is
Right.
Valerie Burton. So every audition I went on, the director goes, "Oh, like Valerie Bertinelli," because that's how old I am, and that show was on TV right then. And so I've always felt like my name was that, like just like Valerie Bertinelli. So I wasn't sad to change that.
I've had 3 name changes in my lifetime. And you know what? Who knows? Maybe one more before I die. Maybe just before I die, I'll change it to Get Fucked or something. So,
I've thought about it a lot. Like, what would I want my name to actually be? Like, because I'm doing a lot of like self-therapy work of, who am I as a human and what do I like? And because I feel like a lot of the things I've done in my life are really reactive, trying to like make other people comfortable or happy or make their work easier. And so I'm trying to figure out what would I do?
yeah. It's a hard thing to choose a name that you're going to be stuck with. It really is. It took me before my transition. It took me. I think I ended up having 5 different first names, and one of them I used for a long time. And I think one of the names I chose was Jacinta. Can you believe that? But the problem was all my friends started calling me Jack for short, and I was like, this defeats the purpose. You've totally ruined it, friends. Fuck you. So I had to come up with something else.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? Lazy friends.
Yeah, exactly. So I had to pick something too that was short that nobody could shorten any further. There's all this thought you have to put into it. It's definitely a thing.
Right.
I'm gonna.
I always thought I hated my name short. Like I did not like to be called Val, I thought. But it's because I grew up in Texas and the way people said it was like this. Vale. And they would scream, Vale.
Oh, Vale.
And I would be like, this is horrible sounding. And I didn't like it. But then I realized that that's just a horrible accent that I still have. I know I do.
I don't. Well, really? No. I think
It's better. I've been gone a long time, but I know it gets worse when I speak to any member of my family.
well, you fall back in as soon as you get there.
Mm-hmm.
We're all our worst critics, and we'll talk about that when we come back. I'm gonna play a song right now. I'm gonna play "Say You Love Me," and this has got Andy Dawson. It's an Andy Dawson remix. You want to tell us a little bit about it before I play it?
Well, it's just a song I put out there again, and this has happened a few times now, where someone's like, "Let me make your song better." And they do. They add all sorts of amazing instrumentation, and it's just also really heartwarming that someone puts so much effort and love into, recreating something, like reforming it and making it into something new that's ours together. So I like it. I appreciate Andy. He's a gem.
Yeah, there's a lot of great people in these communities who reach out and do things like this. So we're very blessed to have such a very cool, kind community. So, folks, this is Say That You Love Me. And we'll see you back here shortly. So grab a beverage, whatever it is you need, settle in. We've got about an hour and a half left to go of this. And let's do it. We'll see you shortly. As Hippie would say, boom. Oh, yeah.
Been in the wrong place, right at the wrong time, quick like a left punch, right to the jawline, slow like a word you can't find when it hides on the tip of your tongue. Made all the wrong moves and been on the wrong side with not enough thank yous, too many goodbyes, blew out so many candles before I had one come true. When you say that you love me, 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 I always smile when I'm walking along. Nothing gets in my way when you say that you love me. Always smile when I'm walking along. Nothing gets in my way when you say that you love me. 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 Got off on the wrong foot, fell into the wrong hands, bet on the wrong horse, ran with the wrong crowd. I can finally see I survived and no longer afraid. When you say that you love me, 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 I always smile when I'm walking along. Nothing gets in my way when you say that you love me. Always smile when I'm walking along. Nothing gets in my way when you say that you love me. 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 When you say that you love me, when you say that you love me, when you say that you love me.
What a beautiful song. What an awesome song.
Thank you so much. Andy really made it like I'm dancing to it now. Before it was kind of sad and dreary. Now, yeah.
And look, you really write beautiful music. And I want to talk about how I found you in a minute. But what we're going to do first is say hello to everybody here. And so here's the deal, guys. Make it easy for me instead of me having to scroll up. Type anything in the chat now so I can call your name out. It just makes it, and then we can get rock and roll. Let's do it now. I'll see what I've got here. We've got Sean Chandler, hello. Feisty Feather, what's happening? Russ 8889, Thomas Christ, Dave Fox, Gregory O'Sullivan, the Falcrow, Barry Glenn. I'm clicking. We've got Patrick Chandler, Joe and Barry Glenn, Sid Vasquez, avocados all round, Kubrick Lover, Lou Reality. Who else do I see? Mr. Smith is here, of course he is. Have I missed anyone? Leela Love, she's got 2 nicknames in here. Cheeky.
Oh, wow.
Jamie Melland is here. Dude! There we go. There's your effect. Mark Effects, hello. James Griffin, what is happening? Gary Hubbs is here as well. We've got heaps of people here. Thank you guys for all being here. Thank you. Kim Harden Hudson, I nearly missed you. Boom. Kim is here. I think I've got most of you. Sith, are you mad at me? Why do I say your name like that, Sith? Sid Vasquez. Boom. I'm saying it the hippie way. Thank you guys for saying hello and being here. You guys rock. And speaking of the hippie, yeah, I have to give him kudos because without Mr. Hippie, most of us wouldn't have found you. It was Hippie who was trawling the internet like he does, creepy Hippie in his little dark room trawling the internet, and he came across you live, and then he introduced you into this community, and everybody fell in love with you. What was the first time when you were playing? I'm wondering, how did you come across Hippie, and did he reach out to you? Because
Well,
he's
it was
amazing.
Leroy, when he made that song,
Right.
he told Hippie, he's like, it was like last year. He
Yep.
said, "Hey, Hippie, play the song." And Hippie says, "Okay." And then forgot. Because, boom. And So he then, like, months, I think he might have followed me or like subscribed or something, because he saw my shows because they're so, and he finally like watched one. I've been doing them for a year and a half.
Right.
So he watched it and liked it. I don't know. And he had me on so many shows and shows all my videos, and it's a little crazy because who am I? It's a lot of attention.
Yeah, I remember he was just like, I remember watching the show, and he was like, "Hey, everybody, we got this Valerie Bhat up, we do a channel, boom, and
It's a good Hippie.
and I've spent 7 hours with him helping him." You get stuck in your brain. And he was like, get over there, check out this artist, she's fantastic. And then all of a sudden you were everywhere, but not in a way that was like, saturation and annoying.
Oh, I felt it was annoying.
Nah, I don't think so. And then you did a live performance on Hippie Show, and I remember watching, going, "Oh, cool! I have this live thing happening soon, so I can't wait to have you on as well." And then I started watching your stream, and then we all kind of come over now and watch your stream. So did you feel like it was a bit of a, hang on, I'm just sitting here playing my music, then all of a sudden you're like, boom, you have this new audience that are all tripping over and falling in love with you?
Well, it's really been nice. It was feeling a bit like, last year especially, I put out 2 videos a week and did the weekly show and did like an additional monthly show, like for a night one, and just felt like I was kind of like, I think I got up to 200 subscribers from 13 last year. So it just felt like it wasn't really going anywhere. So,
Yep.
and then even when Leroy did the song, I was in a really bad place. And so I didn't quite understand like what he meant about a hippie or what he was talking about. What's, I don't know. And it really wasn't until like, so in January, I'd rage quit my job, and that is like the same exact moment that I met Hippie, like that same month. And so it was kind of an interesting transition time for me, where I was just going from like a really stable, career that's, in an establishment with a retirement account, and just kind of giving it all up because fuck all that. And so it was, so it was really a perfect time for me, because it made me feel like, okay, well, maybe this wasn't just completely for nothing. Like, this year I'm almost up to 400.
Yeah.
So just half the year I got as many as I got all of last year. So that was, it feels a little bit more like, at least it feels nice. Like, I had people show up before, but there was like 4 people or 5 people at a show, and that was fun. They're really good people. But now there's be like 15 and 20, and that's just kind of amazing. Like a 3,000% increase in people.
Yeah, and if it helps you perform too, really. Having people there and having someone to interact with, instead of just looking down and going, "Oh, well, it's a ghost train."
Yeah. And people have been like, they give me really great suggestions about like songs to learn, doing like different covers, and do you know this band, and just things I hadn't thought of. Like, you told me to do the Round Here song, and that's one I really like, from Counting Crows, and it's just one I hadn't thought of at all. But it's now I've played it at like 3 shows since then.
And the reason I mean, Counting Crows are one of my favorite bands, and they're one of the, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, so tell me to get fucked if you disagree. But there's certain artists out there that are storytellers. They are able to paint pictures in your mind. And Adam, the singer of Counting Crows, is very much, all of his albums are very interlinked. The stories will, from 3 albums ago, connect with a song for, 4 albums later, and there's names that come up in songs. And that was why I suggested it to you, because I believe you are a storyteller. You tell stories with your songs, and it's a really hard thing to, like, it's hard enough to play music and write songs, but to be able to be a storyteller is very hard. And I think that's a gift that you have. So that's why I suggested you do that song. And I think, all right, I want to touch on this because you've talked about it. You seem like you've gone through a hell of a lot of changes over the last maybe, couple of years. We had the pandemic. I know you've mentioned on your show you lost a hell of a lot of weight yourself. So and now leaving a job. How have all these changes, like what spurred you on to make these changes, and how hard a journey has that been for you?
I get, so I have made a lot of changes. It's mostly been it's probably like the last 6 years, really.
Right.
So, and I think it feels, it's part of it feels like it's all happened at once, but it's really been step by step that I have. So about 6 years ago, I stopped drinking, and
Yep.
that was really big for me. And when I stopped drinking, that's when I started learning about electronics. And so studying, making pedals and figuring all that stuff out was, a great help for me to like concentrate and focus on something. And you can't drink and do it because, you have to be smart. So you have to think about
yourself.
it. Yeah. So it, like you have to focus. So it was good to work on that. And that's been good for me now because it's just given me like, what I feel like I really enjoy pedal making a lot more than I thought I would. And there's so many different parts of it that I really like. And so just quit drinking, started doing pedals. I really, being a solo artist was a really big thing for me, and trying to like be a performer and having kind of the audacity of being alone on stage and not having other people to give me rhythm and bass notes and harmonies, and just being me. And is that enough? And so I've been, that's really been big. And then I was doing this a lot, playing a lot of shows, 3 or 4 times a month. And I was in misery. Like I physically was in intense pain. My partner did all of the work of getting all of my equipment there to the place, setting everything up, would kind of help me get to my spot. I would do like a 2 or 3 hour gig and be fine, because when I'm playing music, I have no pain at all. I don't feel myself in my body, which is probably dangerous because I overdo it sometimes, but I am completely apart from my body when I'm playing music. And so I could do that and feel great, just play, and I feel awesome. And that would last about 30 minutes after the show, at which point I could no longer walk. I would have to be like helped back to the car. My partner would take everything down, pack everything up, bring it all home for me. And because I could do nothing.
Yep.
I did that for over a year, where I just barely functioned. I was having trouble going to work. I was having trouble walking. But the whole thing was that I just felt like I had no choice. I felt like this is just because I'm a fat person who has always been fat, and I've been always told that I have fat genes, that I have fat bones, that that my one side of my family is the fat side, and that's the side that I take after. And so I always just and then there's always been a big kind of dismissal of my own pain. Like I always think I'm overreacting. Like it's probably everybody's pain. Everybody has pain. I'm not alone. This isn't that bad. I need to just suck it up and do stuff. but it finally got so bad that I couldn't walk, and I had to go to the doctor and be like, help me be mobile again. And I had developed cysts along my spine that were impinging on my spinal cord, and they prescribed physical therapy, but they were really like, there's really nothing we can do about this, just go to physical therapy and hopefully they can help. They put me in a traction machine, which is like they strap your chest down and they hook your hips to a machine and pull you apart.
Oh shit.
Pull your spine apart. And I did that 3 times a week for like 20 minutes to 40 minutes. It went up, and I did that for like, I'm gonna say it took about a month of doing this very regularly before I realized that I didn't have pain when they took 100 pounds of pressure off my spine, and that if I could lose weight, that I would take that pressure and that pain off of my spine. And I had never really made that like mental body connection, that it was just that. And also even laying there, because I just laid there a lot strapped to this table, I would think, like, it's still just not possible, because I've lost weight before. Mm-hmm. I lost 100 pounds when I was about 30, and I looked great, and I weighed about 180 pounds, and I was doing great. And we moved to 3 states in 3 years, and I gained back about 70 pounds, I think, pretty quickly. And so it just felt like it was just like, oh, you can lose weight, but you can't keep it off. So what's the point? Like, like you could do it, but it's not going to stay there. So it's like, you're just going to do this roller coaster all over again. And, but something this time, like, I really just, my partner's a mathematician. He's very like logical and like, this is how things work. And so, it helps just that sense of like, really like, hey, let's just really be super scientific, and like, we got a measuring scale, like a digital, like you would weigh drugs on, but let's weigh food on it instead. And so I still weigh out everything. Like if I eat snacks, I weigh it out, because I read a book that said that the difference between fat people and thin people is that one overestimates how much they're eating and the other underestimates how much they're eating.
Yep.
And that's really all the differences in the mental like just how we see how much, like a person who's very thin probably thinks that they eat more than they do. And a person who's bigger just thinks they eat less than they do. Like they don't realize how much they're eating. And so once I realized that it was really like my own personal bias of how I'm thinking about the food. And it took 10 months to lose 80 pounds, and I have zero pain now. I very rarely have problems. I just started going back to the gym again recently, which has kind of been hard for me, like mentally, like, can I do this? Will I break? Will I have to start over? Because I'm a little worried about getting injured. But this time I lost all this weight. It was not exercise related. It was just how much am I eating? And so controlling that has felt really powerful. Like, okay, now it's been almost 2 years that I've kept off this weight, and the most I've gained is 5 pounds.
And through COVID too. That's impressive.
And COVID kind of helped, because I didn't realize my job was making me fat. The job I quit finally. And when I went back after COVID, I was so, like, I'd get to work, sit down. I was so hungry. I would be like starving. Mm-hmm. I'd been like, I ate breakfast 20 minutes ago. But like, I just realized how much of my hunger was anxiety or, discomfort, and how I'm treating that. Like, in my mind, it comes across as hunger. And so I try to eat away this anxiety, which doesn't work. And, but yeah, once I started back in the office, I quickly actually developed a lot of the same pains that I was having before. And again, once I quit. It's just gone away. So it's I don't want to say it was that job, but just like how I was being in, you know, how I was holding myself in that job, how I was sitting, the desk I was in, the ability for me to like take walk and get exercise like I can now. I can just like get up and go and come back, and no one's watching me or micromanaging my time but me.
What an incredible story. What, preach. Everyone agrees in the chat, of course, too.
Oh, thanks. I did a video about my weight loss too that's on my channel that's just like how I lost weight.
It's hard to make big changes in our lives, you know. It's but when you do them and you're able to stick with them, it's hard to even look back after a period of time and go, geez, I was like that. Wow, you know, why did it take so long for to make these changes? It's absolute kudos to you for.
No, I'm just glad I did, because I mean, yeah, I could definitely. It's easier to not do anything about it because it just time makes it seem overwhelming. How much time it takes to change seems so overwhelming.
I wish I was able to lose weight during COVID. I'm the biggest I've ever been in my life, and I'm so not used to it.
It's more common.
I've always been really skinny. Very similar to what you said. I have one side of my family all fat, the other side of my family skinny, and everyone got that gene, the bigger gene, and for some reason I remained skinny my whole life. But COVID killed me. It just has blown me out. And I can't get rid of it. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm old. I think that's what it is.
No, you're beautiful.
Yes, I just embrace it now. Just go whatever. It's not like I'm going to hook up with anyone anyway.
And I don't like to put my weight loss on like, how I look versus I really try to put it on, it doesn't matter about how big you are, but it's just like how you're feeling. If you're not feeling well, there's no reason to suffer and not feel well if you can make small changes and really improve your quality of life.
Absolutely.
More than anything else.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know actually that I don't think I actually look better personally. I have issues with that.
We're all our worst critics, of course.
Yeah, I think so.
Especially musicians, we're the worst, we're the suckiest of all. So I'm going to play a track. I'm going to play Pray. Do you want to tell us a bit about this before I play it?
So this one I wrote after we had a last March a year ago, we had a mass shooting at the grocery store here in town.
Right.
They're called King Supers, and it's a man he's still he's been deemed mentally incompetent to stand trial. But it it was just and now it's just kind of become like another day here in America. But at the time I was like, I really wanted to write something about how I felt about trying to, there's thoughts and prayers and then kind of sarcastic version of, that's all we do. But at some level, I do think that there's a missing component of caring for each other that praying gives. And it's not about inaction, but just about that we really need to actually keep caring about this and not forget about it. So this is my song, Pray.
Awesome. Let's do it. All right, guys, this is Pray, and we'll see you back here in a few minutes, and then I'll tell you a little bit about Distrokid. So buckle up, chill out, and here we go. Let's do it.
I get on my knees at dusk and at dawn and offer my praise in word and in song. Confess to my grief, forgiveness I pray, just hoping that God will hear what I say. I pray for the lost, pray for the found, pray for the brave, pray for this town. Pray for the sick, pray for peace. Pray to your gods, pray for me. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. The night when I lay down to sleep, I pray to the Lord my soul to keep. But if I should die before I wake, I pray to the Lord my soul to take. And I pray for the lost, I pray for the found, pray for the brave, pray for this town, pray for the sick, pray for peace, pray to your gods, pray for me, pray to the lights, pray to the sound, pray to the sky, both feet on the ground. Pray for the dead, pray for the new, pray for me, I'll pray for you. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
That was beautiful. Awesome
Thank you.
stuff. All right, I'm going to let you join me here, and we're going to do my Distrokid read because you have just become a Distrokid member, I do believe. Is this correct?
Yay. Applause, thunderous applause.
There you go. There's the thunderous applause. You ask.
Yay. I did it. It's all your fault, but I did it.
I'm glad you did, and we'll talk about that next because you've released something already. And while we're here on Distrokid, so Valerie's become a Distrokid member. She's released her first album, and you too can do so for the low price of $19.99 a year for a solo artist. And you can release as many things as you like, as I mentioned at the start of the show. And if you use my link up the top there, distrokid.com/VIP.com/VIP/Jade, say you'll get 7% off your first year. So what I want to show you while we're here is something that you may not have known is in Distrokid. So we're going to go over here to goodies, where the goodies are. And we're going to go to, I think it's in enhance your music. And down here, there's this thing called Dave. What's Dave all about? Let's click on Dave. Meet Dave. Dave is Distrokid's music analyst AI bot. And Dave can give you information about your song. Just say you're doing a collaboration with somebody. You're remixing a song or something that you've already released, and you want to share it with somebody, but you don't know the BPM of it. You don't know what key it's in and stuff like that. So well, guess what? Dave, the little brain here, can help you with that. So if I go and find, let's go and find a DreadCircus song here. Here we are. This is Down by my DreadCircus track. And I select the track from my list of tracks we haven't hit next. Dave goes to work thinking for you, and look what it does. Comes back with, "Hi, I'm Dave, Distrokid's AI bot. Let me tell you about Down by Jade, Starr, DreadCircus. Down is 3 minutes long, 48 seconds. It's in the key of D major, and the time signature of 4 beats per measure. Loudness is minus 10 dB, and the tempo is around 80.02. How cool is that? And it even gives you these little statistics here of acousticness is 66%, which is quite accurate because there's an acoustic guitar in this. Danceability, damn, only 43% danceability. So people will come to my gigs and only half of them will dance. Instrumentalist, 54%. The track is 58% energetic. Speechiness, it has no talking, so hardly anything. Liveliness, 29%. So track was recorded in a studio. It knows that. And the valence, so the vibe is happy, cheerful, and euphoric. I'm sorry, Dave, but you screwed it up because the song's called Down. It's really depressing. Dave, you're out of there, Dave. You're fired. But it's a really handy thing to have, and I think people don't know about it. And you can even share this to people if you would like as well. So a really cool thing, and this applies to all your songs. And I'll show you some. I won't go through this whole thing, but we'll go over here, and it is under Enhance Your Music as well. You can actually add your lyrics to your songs as well. So here's some of my songs, and here's an FMC song. What have we got? Colostomy, Community Colostomy Bag, one of my songs, and you can go in here. And I've already added the lyrics, so you can go in here and add your lyrics. But here's a thing called synced lyrics. And what you can do is play the song, right? And as the song's playing, it's kind of like a game. And every time the lyric comes up, you have to touch your space bar or touch on the file, and you can make the lyrics automated, like karaoke. So when you go to Apple Music or any of these things, I'll show you. If I hit play right now, I'll turn it down so it's not too loud. If I hit play, so I've got to hit space on all the lyrics to get them going, right? We can just waste some time while it does this. Got to get to the actual the vocals. So it's kind of like playing, what's it called? Guitar Hero, in a way. You just hit your space bar when the lyrics come up, and what it does, it remembers it at the end of the song. So next time you're at Apple Music, the lyrics will move along with your track. Lucky it's a short song. Here we go. Okay. Oh yeah. Come on. Let's rock. Come on everyone, let's have some fun. So I'm just hitting the space. Come on everyone, let's get it. Now, the thing is, I've screwed up the lyrics there. So I did that on purpose so we didn't have to hear the whole song. And then you can just hit Save Time Lyrics, and this saves it to your song, and you're done. So when you go to Apple Music, you can actually choose Show Lyrics, and it'll move along for you. Another cool feature from Distrokid. Anyway, I want to thank Distrokid once again for sponsoring the show. You guys rock. Love you so very much. And remember, guys, if you want to release your music, click my link, save your 7%, and get your music out there. Do it. Now, you have just released your first album, and it's a little bit of a departure from what you do. Tell us about this album.
Well, I did. I clicked the link that Jade provided, and I signed up for DistroKid, and I put up, so my album is called City Electric, and it is 8 instrumental electronica songs that I've written. They're all things I've written previous that are older, except for one new song. The 8th one is something that I've never released before. But I really like to do electronic songs and instrumental songs, and I have nowhere to put them, and I can't perform them. So I thought, well, this is great. I can put them on Spotify. And I've gotten many listens already. I'm excited.
Yeah, I was super excited to see like that you signed up and were releasing music, and I was like, oh my god, I really love your ballsiness to just the first thing you release be something that is not normally your main style of music. I just thought, yeah, I love it. So I played it on the show, and I've put
I missed that.
yeah, it was one of the I think I opened the first show this week, so Sunday for you it would have
Okay.
been. But there's a link in the description, guys, to go and get this and go and listen to it on all the streaming services. So make sure you do. We're going to play a song from it right now, actually. I'm going to only play a short one just to give you all a taste. I'm going to play Almost Spring, and then we're going to talk about all the things you do and bring this show home. So let's do that right now. You ready, guys? It's only a short song, so let's bring it up. Here we go. Boom. So, what's it like for you having music available on Apple and Spotify now? Do you feel like more of a rock star?
I do. I feel very much. You know, I told you I've been doing this. I've been doing a YouTube show for a year and a half. I really took. It was this week. Someone said, "Oh, Valerie, she has a YouTube show," and I was like, "I do." It's a show. I hadn't thought of it as a show before. So I'm excited that I have a show.
It is
And
a
I kind of
show.
feel like that. I didn't know it was a show, Jade. Nobody told me that. So
I call my thing a show. I've never called it a
it's a
stream. It is a
show.
show.
Well, I don't know. I hadn't thought about it. It was just me playing. It wasn't a thing. I don't know. I hadn't thought of what it was at all. But I finally realized it is a show. And I'm really jazzed. Yeah. I've been doing better this week. And I think that's one of the reasons is that I realized that. I
Good.
have a show, Jade.
You see, I've had people message me about this show and go, I would watch your stream more often if you didn't talk so much and play other people's music and just focused on the app that you were showing off. And I'm like, but that's not what I want to do. This is a show. I want people to be involved in it. I want to showcase people. I want to see people grow. I want to show the app as well. It's a show. I'm showing you things. Like it's show and tell. Like it's to me, I look at my show as appfotainment. I like making up my own words for things, and it's an app, and it's information, and it's entertainment, and anything that you're interacting with an audience, I think is a show. And live streams reminds me of video game streams.
Yeah. And I think it feels like a show now, just in the sense of it feels like I'm really like have an audience of people and showing up and that and that makes it like a show. It's not a show without an audience.
Absolutely. I want to talk now about your creativity because it is vast. I'm just looking at your website here and you have your toe in everything. Hand-etched jewelry. You've got T-shirts, custom pedals. You do all these gigs. You're actually playing in the real world. You're actually a real artist doing shows. Tell us about how you got into art. What inspires you to make art? What inspires you to make jewelry?
I have been working as a graphic artist since college. I didn't go to school for that, but then that's pretty much all I ever did for careers is like graphic design and web design and things. And then when I've also enjoyed, my grandmother was a really brilliant painter. And so I've always just really wanted to be a painter like she was. And so I do a lot of traditional art, like drawing and painting, and taking a lot of classes for that. And then when I started doing the petals, I was etching, I etched the metal, the design into the metal. And then I realized that etching could be for jewelry. And so that's when I started to make them in putting the etch. So I like hand draw the rose shape or the rose design and etch it with ferric chloride into the copper. And then I use sulfur and fire to get the different colors of the patina. So that's it's almost as good as pedals. If it made music, then if I could put like bells on it.
A musical bracelet that plays your album.
Yeah. So I started a jewelry making class this month. I just did my second class yesterday. So we're learning, I'm learning how to better solder. I think I'm not quite, there were things I was definitely doing wrong. So I'm learning. And there's a really cool Boulder Metal Smithing Association that's just around the corner from my studio. So I'm excited to learn more jewelry stuff. So just hard. I'm not a jewelry wearer, to tell you the truth.
Yes,
I don't. I have sensory issues, like of touching things, and so the only watch I can wear has like a soft cloth band, and so I'm not good at wearing jewelry, but I really like how to make it. So I don't know if that makes any sense. To make things you don't pedals I like to play with and make.
Yeah.
Jewelry, I didn't. Yeah.
So here are a list of some of your jewelry. So if folks are interested, I have put a link to Valerie's page where you can get to all of this stuff. But this stuff is absolutely beautiful. I love people who create their own things, have their own visions, create their own jewelry, and I think it's beautiful. So folks, get over and have a look.
I've got some earrings coming up soon. Now that I know how to solder better.
Well, speaking of soldering, let's talk about your pedals because you've just got now I don't know why this image isn't coming up for me, but here is your pedal page. Mm-hmm. So how did you get into making pedals? Tell us the story of this.
I bought off reverb.com. I bought an AB switcher pedal, which is just supposed to take your guitar and I'm using it to use two guitars into one amp where I could switch back and forth because I have different tuning. So I bought this pedal, and in about 20 minutes of using it, it stops working. And I was like, what's going on? And so I opened it up, and it's the most simple circuit, the AB switch. It's super simple. And when I realized that I spent $60 on this really simple pedal that was really just 4 wires connected to a switch, I was like, what, are all my pedals like this? And so I looked up what pedals or how they're made, and I was just really intrigued how simple they are. A fuzz pedal is, it sounds like that shitty sound for a reason, because it's only made up of like 7 different pieces, resistors and transistor and a couple capacitors, and And that's all it takes for a fuzz. Most of these are a lot more complicated than that, but none of them, they're all hand wired. They're all hand, like I make little circuit boards out of a piece of copper and etch them and drill them. And I have a video about how I did a hippie fuzz. Hippie put a comment that says hippie like fuzz, or hippie want a fuzz, or I don't know. Boom. Hippie one. And so I made a fuzz that has hippie's face on it. And it's that's basically my take on a Big Muff Pi op amp version. So each of these pedals, like there's the schematic of the pedal is not something that can be copyrighted or trademarked, like it's just is. So you can pretty much copy any pedal as long as you remake the pedal from scratch and not just copy the paths of their drawings. So most of these are just starting with these very old school circuits that were the original 70s, late 60s circuits. I do make some updates because transistors have changed and there are things that are better now. We know more. Guitars are better, amps are. So I've definitely made a lot of updates on things, but I think that the sound is the same authentic analog sound of these original pedals. Plus, you can put any design you want on there. So my friend David, who's here in the community with us, he liked my bat distortion pedal, but preferred a different image on it. So I switched that up and etched a really cool haunted image into it. I made one for Boomer that has his what do you call, like your avatar, that has his on there, and and for a couple other people in the community like that. So I can put different stuff on them.
I love
That's
this
just a
jewelry box one. It's so clever though. It's so interesting. Pedals are so boring. Everything.
Right.
Everything's moved to a digital realm. And what's weird about this, we're going a bit of a rant here, but, so many of the digital pedals now are just trying to replicate a real world pedal. And I always find that ugly because, hey, it's skeuomorphic. I don't want that. I want an interesting interface that's completely different. So seeing something like a jewelry box, it just takes you... It's very clever stuff. I really like that you can create your own images on here. It's really, really nice. And the hippie one, you can tell.
The jewelry box is just like what I found at a thrift store.
Oh, wow. Look at it. Let me enlarge for you. Wow.
So, and it's actually like, just a jewelry box still.
Oh my God. It's still a jewelry box. That's cool.
Yeah, you could put stuff in there. But I just, I soldered it on a little piece of strip board here and put it all together. Yeah, you could still put stuff in there.
How much time does it take you to put together something like a pedal?
There's a lot of little steps involved that take like etching just takes time, at least 30 minutes to etch a board. So there's a lot of little things that take up time where I'm not doing anything necessarily. So it takes me about 2 days to get a pedal done, but it takes me about 2 days to get 3 pedals done too. If I
right.
So if I can do them more than once, if I can do more than one at a time. So it's also dependent on if the art is itself its own thing. If you for when people want different art, I kind of have to start from the beginning of drawing art and fitting it into the case. And sometimes people want different things, like different types of knobs. I'm really fond of these Marshall knobs, but I have lots of different ones. And depending on what art people want, sometimes that changes how big your knobs are, or how far apart they are, or what kind of things. I like to talk about knobs. Big knobs are good. Small knobs are okay.
All knobs are
Different
welcome on
knobs.
this show.
All knobs are all knobs are good knobs.
We love knobs on this channel. We love talking about knobs, looking at knobs, touching
Those are
knobs.
actually in that picture there. It's some good, really good aluminum knobs. Those are my favorite.
I love a
Those
good
are real
aluminum
nice. They're expensive. They're expensive.
So what's the average price I can see here? So pedals made to order prices range from $175 to $250 USD
Yeah,
plus shipping
that's
as
about
well. Yeah.
plus shipping. Yeah. That's yeah. I definitely think I'm underpricing at this point, but I just am still trying to feel out what am I doing
Yeah.
and what like my problem is every pedal I make is my new favorite pedal. And so I'm like, well, I don't want to make that old pedal. I want to make this new one now. So I need to like stay on track with ones. But I went to talk to one of our local guitar shops here and talking about putting my pedals on consignment there in the shop. And they have a little demo area for people to play. So I'm working on getting some pedals for that maybe a stranger would walk in and want.
Yeah, that's very exciting. I mean, they look wonderful. They really do look wonderful, and they look unique too. That's what I like about them. And I love that you give the option to have where you want the switches on them. I mean, that's part of the whole thing, isn't it? Like you can decide.
Yeah, for a lot of the time, like I personally, for all my pedals, I like to have the in and out on the top.
Yeah.
But this last bat pedal has them on the sides, just for my own ease. But they could go, a custom one could pretty much go either way for most designs.
And you can like put different colored LEDs in there, and so
like that Blue Angel one has both a chorus and a reverb in the same box. It made it with it has toggle switches because it's made for a kalimba player, which is like one of those boxes with the little metal forks on it. So I have a friend who plays. He was on like a Grammy nominated album for playing kalimba, and he's just amazing at it. But then kalimba with delay is just a new trippy thing that has been amazing. And
yeah, look, they're fantastic. I love that you're doing these. I think it's really, really cool. And I implore you, as I said, the links are below. Go and check them out. If you're looking for a pedal, reach out to Valerie, and she'll
eventually get back to you.
But it will be worth the wait, absolutely, and worth your time. Because if you want to go and check out too, Hippie's link is on her page, so check that out. And so there's the making of it, and then Hippie actually did a show of him comparing it to a real big muff, and in my opinion, it sounded better. I was watching live and was like, man, I don't know. Like, I'm not a big muff pedal fan. I like death metal, so I like really high gain distortion, so muffs don't do it for me. But I felt your pedal had the option to sound like a muff pedal, but it had that option to get a bit distortion-y as well. There was the ability to turn it into a high gain as well, which I really liked. So, and yes, Sith Vasquez, indeed, I can confirm, does like muff.
Yeah, she has good taste.
Yeah, she does. Oh, and she likes pedals as well. So, just to clarify, avocados all round. Boom. Boom. Let's play another song, and then we'll talk a little bit more about how you make music. Let me grab my list of music here. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm pretty slack. I'm falling behind my game here. Now I'm going to we'll play this one because it's got Mr. Smith on it, and he's here in the chat.
I love Mr. Smith.
Yeah. Mr. Smith is awesome. The masked bandit himself behind the killer drum kit and killer gear. Do you want to tell us about this song? This is called Sweet, Sweet Time.
This one, I didn't think anyone would like the song because I thought it was silly. Because I wrote it just out of, I was mad at the person in front of me in traffic because it's supposed to be 55 miles an hour and we were going 38 miles an hour. Right. And it was like, I was just, why? And so I thought, they are taking their sweet, sweet time. It's what I said. And I was like, well, that's a good song. So I had so much time to write the song because we drove so slowly that I swear I had the whole song finished before I got to my turn. And then the wonderful Mr. Smith saw it and added all these, added all the instrumentation and himself, which I really love. And I got to say, all three, I don't think any, so when I play these songs and put them out, I don't use a click track because I'm not a thoughtful human being. I just play the song. And I was just like, I didn't know anyone was going to ever remix the song, so I didn't care. So I just like, who cares, play the song. So all three of the songs you've heard that were remixed were done, the BPM goes up and down. And I don't know how any of them did what they did. Like there was no click track. That they came, met me where I was.
We call it Valerie time. I've done it with the John
Valerie
Barry
time.
Glenn, and they have the Glenn time. So
Yeah,
you just work with it and make it work.
they're wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's play this track. It's about road rage. let's do it in a nutshell. We'll see you back here shortly. Boom.
My sweet, sweet time. My sweet, sweet time. I can't spare you 1 minute, baby. Every second's all mine. You gotta wait, 'cause I'm gonna take my sweet, sweet time. Ever since I was a little bitty baby, oh, I'm gonna take my sweet, sweet time.
Boom. What an awesome track, huh? Mr. Smith has the most amazing studio, and he's super talented. He's
Yes.
amazing. Yeah. He sent me a video of his studio, and I was absolutely blown away by it. Just an amazing
see
setup.
that.
I know. Maybe I'll send it to you. It's really cool.
He won't mind.
He won't
He
mind.
likes me.
I don't have any like face pictures to send or anything like that.
That's what I want. Yeah.
I know the mystery. Who is Mr.
mystery.
Smith? Who is Mr.
Though I feel
Smith?
like I know Boomer now. You saw Boomer's last video.
Yeah.
Finally saw
Yeah. We
all
know.
his face at once.
Yeah, I know. Which is interesting because a lot of people on Hippie Show don't have heads.
They don't. And I thought about doing that, but that's, yeah. I was thinking about, I tried to make a video like that just to be funny.
So if you're watching people from Hippie Show and you've got videos out, I want to see your faces, for God's sake. Give us a bit of head. We want some head.
Yes, we do need some head.
Everybody needs a bit
Yeah.
of head, don't we? So don't be shy. Show us your head.
Amen.
Yeah. There's nothing like a bit of head. I wanted to ask you about your songwriting process. What's a typical Valerie Bhat song come together? How do you write a song? Do you start with lyrics? How does that come about?
I can go either way. I go both ways. I like to, I often, sometimes I'd come up with like, there's an idea that kind of pops in my head and I'm like, that's a good word or a phrase or a thought or a concept. And I like to record it on my little, on my watch. And I feel like,
Oh, wow.
Inspector Gadget. And I say, here's my line. So I use that Apple Audio, thing all the time to record my thoughts. And I rarely actually listen to them again. But if I've said it and done it and it's good, I'll remember it later. And every once in a while I'll go back and listen just if I'm trying to think of something, like need an idea to start with, I'll go listen. But usually if I've recorded it and it's good, I'll remember it. I like to sit down with my little Martin guitar sometimes and just kind of play chords and sing sometimes. And sometimes things just come to me that way. Sometimes I start with just a pencil paper and a pencil and write. That Lost in Conversation song, I went and sat at a coffee shop, and it just, is what I wrote while I was at the coffee shop, and then went home and put it to music. I would like to be a little more musical in my music. I'm a little simple, I know, in my songwriting still. I have gone to song school at Planet Bluegrass in Lyons, Colorado, for the last 6 years. This year is the first year that I didn't go for the whole week, though I did go in and sneak in this week. I hadn't told anybody, but I went and hung out for a day, just because I couldn't stay away. But that place has been amazing for me, just to learn different ways for me to connect to my own thoughts and inspiration, and to give myself permission to be like, let me just write down these thoughts and make a song. And also give myself permission, I think, to not finish songs or to write bad songs or to, write songs that I don't release. They're, just things for me. And then I also have an amazing, so I have a great friend, Jack Hadley, who is just an amazing blues performer, and he has invited me to his songwriting showcase, which we do at least usually once a month, and sometimes every other week if we can get to it. And we just get to sit around and trade songs. Usually there's 3 of us. And that's been really good for me to have a reason to write new songs that people are kind of showing up and wanting original songs.
Yep.
And so that's been a lot of fun to have a reason to write. I haven't written as much this last year as I normally do, but I've been working on other stuff from just personally with myself. So I'm trying to like not feel bad about it, that I haven't been too creative, but I've been starting more like to take my guitar into the studio with me, and sometimes it just takes the trip, but then sometimes I'll get it out and start to write a little bit. I also like to do music where I'm doing like the electronic music. I'm just doing with my MacBook, and I have a little MIDI keyboard and that has a little drum pad on it too. And I will, usually start that way. If, laying down beats and doing keyboard type effects.
That was going to be my next question. Like, what are you using to record, so to make music?
I use GarageBand or Logic. It just depends on how complicated a project I'm expecting to start to make. Sometimes I'll just start in GarageBand because it's kind of easier to start in there. Especially if I'm just working on recording mostly I've been recording songs for myself to like, how does the song go?
Yep.
I do more video recording than audio recording is really scary to me. And it's a lot harder for me to record just audio and me be happy with how it sounds. The videos I make, because I'm doing them, most all of them are just done live, where I do one take and that's it. You got it. And so they're not perfect, but who would expect that to be? But yeah, I think the audio is harder.
I think what's really cool about GarageBand on Mac is the ability now, because it's so integrated in with Logic, you can start in GarageBand and not have all the, because Logic's really deep. I've got Logic now. I've had it for a while, and I'm getting ready soon to start on this channel doing some Logic stuff on Mac, and because more and more iOS apps are now compatible with Mac M1 chips. So it's happening. It's actually happening. So I'm doing my best to learn Logic, but I really love how you can create something in GarageBand and then it's like, oh, I really want to use some of the cool tools in Logic, and you can just open it in Logic and it's sweet. They've really integrated it very, very well. Speaking of Mr. Smith, so he's just said here, I think he said I could kind of play that video. He's actually working on something with me too, Valerie. He sent me a clip. Here he is. And he's putting drums to a song I'm working on at the moment, which I've kind of been working on my channel, but I've been taking a break from it. And here he is he just sent this to me. I was like, oh yeah, I've started working on the drums for your song. The man gets around. The man of mystery gets around. Look at him go. Holy shit. That kit is amazing.
Right? Yeah.
So I'll tell you what do you think about this? I really want to get Mr. Smith on the show.
Maskless?
That's totally up to him. I don't mind.
I don't think he'll do it.
I don't mind if he wants to wear a mask. That's cool. Like it's part of his shtick. So
it's cool.
When I
would stick with it.
When I had Jack Flash on, I actually wanted him to, show himself instead of have a filter on. But like Mr. Smith's got some shtick there, so the mask makes sense. So hopefully he'll come on maybe in September. We'll do that. Maybe we'll have our song. I'll have my song back going again. So he's an incredible artist, and he's working with a lot of people. Are there any particular apps or anything that you use to help you? And they don't even need to be like music apps. Are there apps that you said you've got your watch there? Do you use iOS as well? Do you have an iPhone or?
I have an iPhone and an iPad and a MacBook Pro.
Wicked.
But I also have a PC as well, though.
Yeah,
So
I'm
I've
the
just
same.
started trying to figure out some PC apps, but okay. So for songwriting, my number one app is called Master Writer,
Is this on iOS?
and it is just an app for anything. It's
Okay.
like a web-based app.
Let me have a look for it. Tell us
So
about it.
it's Master Writer,
Yep.
and I love it because I've used it for many years, and it's really developed and gotten better. And so now I think it's just incredible. You can have all your songs in one place. You start a song, you have a place for all your lyrics and chords on one side. You can record the audio and then just like, I like to record, like, here's me playing the song, or even when I'm writing, I'm sometimes like, here's just chords that I think is going to be the bass, and then I can kind of play while I work on lyrics. It has the best dictionaries for like, not just rhyming, but also like, what are word families? Like, what are other words like this? And what are words in this, theme? And what are phrases, and often in real world thing, like they have a lot of rhymes that are different from regular books because they're real rhymes, and people can add rhymes, kind of like I don't know how you add them, but people, they add to their list all the time. So, like, you're like, what rhymes with elephant ears? Britney Spears will come up, and you're like, thank you. That is what I want.
I love your elephant ears. They remind me of Britney Spears, especially when she was locked up.
Yeah. And so it's got a lot of cool dictionary tools, but the thing I use it most is just like organizational. Here's all my songs. Here's what they sound like. Bam, boom, done.
Boom.
That's my favorite one.
Nice. And there's the prices if anyone's interested. So it's masterwriter.com. And I love this bit of the show because people normally come away with something they have never heard of, like myself. Is there anything else? Is there any iOS apps that you use?
So when I'm doing, so I have Procreate for my iPad, but when I'm drawing for pedals, I like to use Sketches. I think it's Tayasui, Tayasu. I don't know how you say that word. That's the brand. And it's just called Sketches. And it's like a super simple, easy, you can draw very simply and not have it be. Procreate sometimes feels very complicated in many levels. And so this for me is very simple. And so that I can just like, with I have a little iPencil too.
Same
so
here.
With my iPencil,
Yes.
draw it out. Yeah. And I like it just because of its simplicity.
Well, I've done some shows.
Doesn't do everything.
I've done some shows on Procreate, and I'm planning on doing some more tutorials on Procreate because I do use it a lot.
Awesome.
It is amazing. It really is. It
does so much cool stuff.
Yeah, and making videos and all that kind of stuff. Anything else on iOS? Well, I've got the App Store open. I can open up. You can think of. If not, that's okay. We've only got 10 minutes. I'm going to go out with a song.
Oh, I did think of another one, but now I can't. It's audio apps. Oh, I guess. No, I really can't think of one at the very moment.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what's next for you? What are you gonna? Are you planning another album to be released? Is there anything you can tell us, or am I like breaking the fifth wall?
So I haven't told anybody. Well, my partner had to hear this, but I don't think he listened to me. So exclusive. Boom. So I've now that I have a DistroKid account and can release as many albums and songs as I want for no additional cost. I want to learn. I want to do. I'm trying to ramp up, and I want to do like a singer-songwriter kind of songs. So my next one is going to be songs I wrote about Christmas. So a Christmas album, y'all.
Oh, wow.
I feel like I need to do this right now, and then it'll be ready. And
I love it.
Because Mariah Carey gets paid. And so I already wrote 2 original Christmas songs that one is the saddest Christmas song ever written. So, and then I learned that you can do, I got a list of all the copyright free Christmas songs that you can do.
Good thinking.
And not have to pay.
Thinking, yes.
So I'm going to do some of those. and then my 2 originals, and then Christmas album.
Nice.
So this is, I haven't done anything about it yet. That's as much as thinking. I'm thinking about it.
I just love it.
I'm going to do it.
The first 2 releases you do an electronic album, then you do a Christmas album. I love your brain, Valerie. You think outside
Third
the
album,
box.
just rap.
Gangster rap, please.
Yeah. I thought, what I want to do, you're going to hate me. So like, I really love 50 Cent's first album. And I think if I want to do an album where I just do a harmony over another person's album, is that a thing? Because I have like a killer harmony for the entire album. Yeah.
Thomas Christ has put
I don't know if Fiddy will be down.
Thomas Christ has put in the chat, a very Valerie Christmas.
I like it.
Yeah, I know, it's great. I'll be downloading it straight away. I love a good Christmas album. See, during Christmas, the only thing I listen to is Bing Crosby. I shouldn't really support him because he's an animal who used to beat women. So,
they all did then.
Yeah,
it was the time.
It was the cool thing to do back then.
We would have thought bad of him if he hadn't.
What are you doing wrong? You're not beating up enough women. Oh my God, that is terrible. What a way to end this show. I'll hit you up with my famous last question that I hit everybody up with. If somebody was considering becoming creative, when would you just suggest them to start?
I would suggest them to start by just doing it and not thinking about it and not asking anybody's permission and not writing any or looking it up, just doing it, even if it's bad or even if because it's always going to get better and it doesn't matter anyway. The important thing is to express yourself. And that is really the only important thing. It's just to express yourself, no matter what anyone else thinks of it.
100%. Do it. Release your music. Do it. Make music.
Yeah. And Distrokid makes it easy.
Oh God,
easy.
I'll slip you a $5 after the show. Thank you.
Right. I'm like, hey, Distrokid, I'm cool too.
They do make it easy. They make it so easy. I have so many albums out. It's ridiculous. If I go over here to my Distrokid page, which is just utterly, it really is ridiculous how much music I have. Just quickly, I mean, look at all the music I have out on DistroKid. It's ridiculous. And these are all like, I think I have 5 different bands. So
that's a lot.
It's so much fun releasing. I still get a buzz out of it. I don't care what anybody says. Like, even if nobody's listening to it, I get a buzz out of going, oh my God, I can just go to Apple Music. Or if somebody asks, do you have music? Yeah, here's Spotify. Even if no one listens, I don't give a shit. It feels good to have music with next door to like Metallica and everyone else. You feel just as important, even though you may get 3 listens a year.
But you are just as important. You
Exactly.
really, it really is true. You really are.
We all are. We all are important. So I'm going to go out today. First, I want to thank you so very much for coming on the show. I want to thank you too for doing the opening hour. You were amazing on that. It was fantastic to have you on. You performed so well. Everybody loves you. I love you. You're a fantastic artist. I mean, you create so many things, and I don't know how you do it. I can't keep up with you. All your links are in the description, so people go click on all the things, clickety, click, click, click. And I want to thank you also for being so brutally honest about your health and telling your story and that. I really appreciate that kind of stuff. And I hope it inspires many, many people because you are amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
Well, I haven't yet. Boom. We've had so many drum beats today. I'm overusing it.
We're naughty, naughty girls.
Yeah. I'm going to play this song called She Lifts Me Up. And it's one of my favorites because when I first heard it, I was like, is this a lesbian song?
It is a lesbian song.
I was like, hang on a minute. I was going to message Seth and go, I think we got another one. Boom. Boom. No, but I really love this song. So, yeah, tell us about this song before I go out with it today.
Well, this song is, I wrote it after a song school class that I took with Steve Poltz, who is the man who wrote with Jewel, You Were Meant for Me, and I Was Meant for You.
Awesome. I love that song.
He's a really great songwriter, and he talked about his process of writing, where he just he kind of starts with an idea, like, here's a tree in the forest. And he says, well, what's next? And then he says, and then I saw a bear. And he says, well, what's next? So he kind of had this idea of, well, what's next? As a way of sometimes writing songs. And so that inspired me to, I just kind of started I don't know exactly, 5'7" is how tall I am. So I don't know why I started with that, but that's the first line. And then I just kind of snowballed it from there all the way through. The chorus is something that I wrote at the same time. I don't know if it really follows, but I like them together. And so I think it's a song that I wouldn't have written without this class, because it's a little outside of my wheelhouse in that both it's wordy and it's a story and it's it's not trying to be pretty. A lot of my songs I think are just trying to be cute or pretty, and this one's just kind of ridiculous. But I like that. I think the more ridiculous I've noticed, the more people like it. I'm seeing that.
Yeah. All right. Thank you all for being here today, everybody. Thank you. You guys rock. And being here all the time and supporting the channel and all that. You're absolutely fantastic. I had a super chat earlier too, which I don't think I addressed, which was from Dave Fox. So thank you very much. If you want to throw one to us before we go, feel free. I want to thank Distrokid for being our amazing sponsor who continuously sponsors this show, which is very kind of you. Love you, love you, love you. And I want to thank you again, Valerie, for coming on the show and just being amazing. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jade.
If you want to hang on the line with me till the end of the show so I can say goodbye once the show's done, but we'll say goodbye now. Thank you, everybody. And this is...
everybody.
See ya. This is She Lifts Me Up. Enjoy. And the next time I'll see you is on Saturday, where I'm doing the opening hour, a tribute to Olivia Newton-John. It's going to kill me. I practiced last night, was crying my eyes out. But anyway, let's not end like that. This is She Lifts Me Up. And we'll see you on the weekend. See you later.
She lifts me up, she lets me down easy. She turns me on, she gets me off. I tell you one more time. She lifts me up, she lets me down easy. She turns me on, she gets me up. I tell you one more time. 5'7" and I'd see her about twice a week, walking uphill with a grocery bag in Bourbon Street. She looked so pretty from her red hair right down to her feet. I couldn't take my eyes away. Well, it took a little while till I bumped into her accidental, heading to the shop on a Tuesday, just coincidental. Apologized profusely, but she said she was not sentimental. I forgot to ask her name. 2 months later, I was hungover and baggage claim, eating stale pretzels that I took with me from off the plate. And like an apparition or something that I can't explain, I saw her standing there. I got so excited, didn't think about the repercussions. Took a deep breath and made a formal introduction. Give me for my candor and my sudden interruption. Would you join me for a drink? She was taken by surprise, and at first she hesitated. Looked me up and down and said she'd appreciate it. Left the empty carousel and to the bar we ambulated for a single glass of wine. That solitary glass turned into a bottle, and before this starts to sound like a romance novel, I swear up to Jesus and all 12 apostles that she was made for me. She lifts me up, she lets me down easy. She turns me on, she gets me off. I'll tell you one more time. She lifts me up, she lets me down easy. She turns me on, she gets me up. I'll tell you one more time. I never did get my checked in bags, and I spent a few weeks dressed up in rags. But I'll tell you what really caused tongues to wag was what happened that night. I had zero doubts that this one's a keeper, and we took a yellow cab through the frontal of the preacher, still wearing silk pajamas. He just called it full moon fever, and he sent us on our way. But I was too proud to take no for an answer, and in the most kindly and sophisticated manner, I pounded on the door till some innocent bystanders, they called authorities. They took us downtown to the police station. I explained our plans for matrimony and my aggravation at finding an authority to legalize affiliation before the break of day. But by this time it was 6 a.m. and the judge had just then wandered in and overheard me tell my story to the policeman who said to follow him. Well, 10 minutes later we was heading out the door as a real married couple that just met the night before. And when I tell this story, I always thank the Lord for bringing her to me. She lifts me up, she lets me down easy, she turns me on, she gets me off. I'll tell you one more time. She lifts me up, she lets me down.
Pete Johns is up next, folks. I'll be dumping you over to his channel straight after this. We'll see you later. Oh, yeah.